Howdy folks, Jake from Wolki Farm. We are home at the Wamargama block and we're just going to cut up a new paddock for the cows. We let them into here this morning about 7 AM. That's when I did my last video actually. And they could definitely graze it a bit harder, but we don't want them to. We're just trying to snip the tops through at the start of our growing season and we don't want to retard our pastures too much. If you go up there, Jake, I'll start stepping in the new paddock, but you can show them on the ground the graze line and you can point out how the cattle are not grazing the cover crop. So you've got the mung beans coming up there and the vetch and different things. While those plants are still immature, they're not drawn to them, so it's actually nice to be able to graze a paddock with some immature cover crop and not really stunted. If anything, we're opening up the canopy a bit. Yeah, we've got mung bean, we've got vetch, we've got ryegrass, and we've got some sweet peas. What did I see? I saw a nice big one. No, that's chickweed. Where did I see it? Makes a liar out of me now. I saw a beautiful big one and I thought that is just an amazing plant. But it just amazes me how the cows, you know, with their big clumsy mouths and, you know, they look like they're just grabbing massive mouthfuls, but they're just grazing around it and really leaving a lot of our cover crop. So this is really, you know, that plant at that size, you know, that vetch at that size, this grass here, they're really at the age now, where, and the size rather, where with the soil moisture that we've got and the daylight hours that we've got and the warmth that we have, they're really going to rock it now. So it's really nice to graze it and not completely push those plants back to the beginning again. Get a nice bonus bump. And by grazing all the other grasses, you know, we're sort of reducing canopy competition and they can really get on with it. So looking forward to how they come up. This is one of the paddocks that we had the yeoman's flower come through. You can still see the rip lines. Starting to get some really nice plants coming up. A lot of different plants from last year. And one thing I'm noticing, I'm whipping around the farm on, what's the app I'm using?
Picture this.
Picture this. Great little app. You feel like a botanist. You download that and all of a sudden you can identify every plant and shrub and tree. And I'm noticing a lot of perennials starting to bounce up around the farm. We had none last year, so we've been here 18 months now. And there's one little slither of paddock over the side there that's in the bottom of a valley, which is thick with perennials, which I've fenced off. Give it a chance to set seed and spread around the farm and keep it as a bit of a stockpile. But it's nice to get around the farm, and I've identified 3 different perennials and a biennial coming up. You know, we really want those plants that can set down a root structure and not have to reset every year. Really try to capitalise on that biomass. We're going to move these guys in the morning. But I've actually got a busy day tomorrow morning. We have a friend of mine, Michael Geeling, who has got a company called Habitat Drones coming out, and he's going to use his drone to spray our black bush block with worm juice. So we've got about, it's only about 7 or 8 hectares that we can't get to in the ute or the buggy because it's too steep. So we'll get around with the drone. I've actually got a film crew coming out. They want to get some media together. So this fence wall is absolutely packed at the moment, about 12 kilovolts. I always try to, we've got 3 fences here. We've got the original sheep fence, and then we've got our cattle hot wire, which is built off with another set of pickets. And then the neighbours put another fence in. Yeah, obviously this is just what's happened over the last however many years. But that's hot, ready to go. We'll meander down and call them through, and I think you'll find they'll be ready to pop.
So you didn't rip on contour here?
No, they didn't. I asked them to, but not everywhere they did. I guess it would have been a lot of faffing around, a lot of short trips back and forward. And what I've noticed since they came, big tractor, it was like a 2-ton tractor or something. Yeah. I don't know exactly, it was massive. What I've noticed is everywhere that they've got to the end of a paddock and turned around, the tracks that they've dug into the paddock with their big tyres hasn't really grassed up yet.
Oh, really?
And you know, it's obviously torn up the paddock, but also compacted it and really squashed it up. So I think that when they got to this paddock, they were just pragmatic and they thought, we'll just go. We haven't had enough rain for it. You know, obviously the idea of gripping on contour is to stop the erosion if you get a big rain event, but we haven't had anything and we've been able to vegetate up pretty well, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Are we all ready? Yeah, you can tell me. Hey, darling. I was about to say don't be a cow, but what would that mean to her? What would that mean to you, number 52? Come on! Come on! We've had a pretty cruisy day on the farm here today, and this is the 4th or 5th times that we've been out with the animals, setting up different water lines and building fences and moving cows around. So we've got to keep a really good eye on the mob today, and they've had full rumens all day and their poos are improving. Obviously this is a very young, rich grass, a lot of protein, very little fibre, so we've been having some pretty sloppy poos. But the cows are getting a real shine to them. This little bull didn't grow much over winter while I was feeding hay. I need to cut him out. He's been a slippery little bugger. He's old enough to get these girls pregnant, so he needs to come out pretty quick. They're getting a nice shine to them. They're all slick. A couple of pooey bums, but nothing I'm too worried about. And the stools were really firming up, and we're only about 1 grade away from a perfect poo. Isn't she a beautiful little heifer? Mickey there, she's a Nguni cow, and last year in this paddock, I worked it out yesterday, I think her intercalving period was about 326 days, so a little bit quicker than a year, about a month quicker. And she had a heifer last year, that black cow there actually, that little black girl there is her previous calf. And we got a white one this year, so I love the fact that you never quite know what you're going to get with these girls. But a beautiful time of day, late evening, starting to cool off, the birds are out. And a wonderful time. This is normally, you know, if the kids are in town with Anne and she's heading back and I've got half an hour to myself, I like to come and sit down here and just spend a bit of time with the cows, kick the boots off. Bit of a dust bath, Mickey, you lovely lady. She's a sweetheart of a cow. I've got half of mine to try to milk her. She's so well mannered. So there's obviously a big hole here. This would have had a few old dormant stumps under the ground, and when they ripped, they found them, snapping tines, but pulled the roots out of the ground at the same time. This actually looks like a wombat hole though. You know, this is a fresh wombat hole, and this is the reality of farming in Australia. You end up with these big craters in your paddock everywhere. It's not very big, maybe it's hares. We don't, maybe started by a wombat or a little wombat, but we don't really have many rabbits. We've got plenty of hares around. You like fluffing that around? That's an F3. Hey darling, you're beautiful. Anyway, thanks for following along on YouTube. Appreciate all the comments. If you've got any questions, drop them down below and I'll get back to you. Thanks.